just really confused. He looks like an unfinished creative character from a video game. What's he doing?
Let's not give it loud for Anthony Eugenio. We're gonna next time. Very funny. Wayne Russell, everybody.
Welcome to the Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne podcast.
Oh, hello everybody, and welcome to an Open Mic Pain with Anthony and Wayne. And today I have a very special guest star on that I think the first time we said let's do a guest, we were like, let's do Fredo for sure. So in the house tonight we got Fredo Cruz. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing pretty fucking good, guys. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, pumped to have you. And also in the house we have about, I think they say in England he'd be like 40 stone of shit, and that's Wayne Russell. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing really good. I gotta say, it's taking more and more to catch me off guard with your intros. Spot on, dude. That was loved it.
That was fucking hilarious.
I know what you like, Wayne. I got to dig deep. I know what he likes.
I'm sure you fucking do,
good shit. Oh man,
That's all I look forward to now in my life. I got 2 kids, so I'm like, how can I make Wayne laugh in the podcast tonight? And then my kids are like, Dad, and I'm like, get the fuck away from me. Damn it.
Oh man. So Fredo, I don't know if you know this or not, but my very first mic was at Strange Brew, and you were the very first comic I ever met.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember meeting you. I remember, like.
Oh, do you? There we go.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was like on the stairs at Strange Brew, I think, right? And
Yeah, it was right before Dana popped his head around and asked some other guy how big his urethra was.
Yo, Dana's fucking wild.
So
Dana's
we
a
met.
wild fucking dude.
I met you, who was super nice and like super supportive, and then Dana popped his head around, who also very nice and seemed supportive. I never talked to him all that much, but it was quite the difference.
He's a fucking creature, dude. He's wild. He's wild. He's a good dude, though. He's a good dude.
He's definitely like cement
he's in
during
Colorado
the day, and then
now.
at night he fucking comes into a real gargoyle.
The gargoyle of fucking Manchester.
So when we had met you that night, I think you said you had been doing comedy for 8 months.
Yeah.
So you got to be
point,
pushing
it was
about a year and a half
yeah.
at this point, right?
At this point, it's a year and like 4 months ish.
Yep. Math checks
Yeah,
out.
because I started in June of last year.
That's awesome, man. Do you remember your first mic? Who doesn't? You never forget your first, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. One Broadway, dude. Fucking One Broadway was
that's
my
right.
very first mic, yeah.
That's right. We had Max on a couple weeks ago, and he brought you up as being somebody
He claimed
who had.
you.
Yeah, he claimed you.
He claimed me, yeah. So, yeah, I know. I started at One Broadway, and I was living in Lawrence at the time. And, like, I basically just, like, looked up open mics, like, near me. And that was the first one that came up. So I was like, all right, let me fucking go here. And that was when it was at the original location. Like, on actually, like, One Broadway Street,
That's where I thought. I grew up in Lawrence my whole life, and I went to Essex Street, and I was like, what the fuck? It's called One Broadway. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because now it's at the Lawrence, what is it called?
The Lawrence Cable Access, I think it is.
Well, yeah, the Lawrence
like
Cable Access Center.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's a really good space for it. Like, I mean, the old space was amazing. It was great. I miss the old space. But the new space is really nice too. The new space is great. There's a lot of space, which is nice.
Yeah, I really like that mic. It's a different animal for sure. But
So we were going to ask you how that mic went, but before we get too far, Wayne, sorry to cut you off, but I want to get back to Strange Brew the first time you saw him, because I have to ask him about I got a story for the first time I met Fredo too there. Well, it's not a story about me, but I found the most hilarious thing I've ever seen. Let me tell you. So I meet Fredo, and we just have small talk, and then goes on stage this older black man. I don't remember.
I think it was
his name.
Leland Newton.
Is that his name? God damn, Wayne.
Oh, this was when Leland was doing the song about me.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And it's before I knew
that
anything
was
about you. So he
crazy,
does
yeah.
the song about you, which is extremely graphic about being gay. And I was like, wow, man, he's really going hard on this guy. And then you went on stage and you're like, I'm gay. And I was like, holy shit. shit! I was like, that guy that was real? I was like, that was
great.
That went from like, wow, he's teasing him to that's a hate crime in like 20 minutes.
No, me and Leland are friends. Me and Leland, we've hung out a bunch of times. We're good. That's like it's so funny because like I knew he was just like joking and I was laughing. Actually, like I thought it was hilarious. but they were like people sitting next to me, like Spencer. You know Spencer Canestraro?
Yeah.
He was sitting right next to me and he looked at me. And he was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Like, what's going on?"
Especially because I was the only one because I didn't know you and I didn't know anything about you. So I'm like, like laughing on the side. It's just me because I think everybody knows how horrible it was.
Oh, it was crazy, dude. Yeah, no, that was fucking funny. Leland is he I respect him. He takes risks, dude. He takes risks. He fucking.
You don't say. Next week, someone with the last name Weinstein is going to have a tough song yelled at him about him, I think.
No, but
fuck. All right, sorry, Wayne. I derailed you. Get us back.
No, it's fine. One question I love is, do you remember any of your first jokes, and do you still do them?
I do. I have all my jokes like in my phone, like in notes, like from the very beginning. And the very first joke that I remember ever doing was it was a joke about the game Portal. Have you guys played Portal before?
Yeah, we're big gamers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played Portal. I
used to
don't
be
know
a
if
huge
Anthony
gamer.
did, but I played Portal. I love it. I don't know if Anthony did. That was on 360, right? When it came out.
Yeah, I was playing it on PC when I was playing it, but it's a fantastic game, obviously. But my first ever joke was about Portal. It was like something along the lines of like, it was like, oh, have you guys ever heard of the game Portal? It was like, yeah, well, I always thought it'd be crazy if Portal were real, like if it actually existed. But you know that guys would like immediately, have like glory hole, portals and shit. Like,
Yep.
Because that's what guys do with, like whenever guys get new technology, that's immediately what they do with it. They just figure out some way to fucking, for it to come to like jerk off with it, somehow. I don't remember it exactly, but that was my very first like joke that I wrote.
That is such a good first joke as far as like having the structure of what a joke is supposed to be. Because my first joke was about a dick pic, and it was so badly structured that I would just basically the microphone. I grabbed the microphone, the cord fell to the ground. Everybody went ha, and I went my dick, and everybody went nope. That's not how you start. You had a well-crafted joke. I like that.
It was. It took me some time. So like I wrote that joke and then I just kind of let it sit for a while, and I didn't go to the mic. And then I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me go to a mic. And I tried it there, and then obviously like I got feedback because One Broadway is a feedback mic.
Yeah.
And coming up, like especially coming up like starting as a branded comic, that was super fucking helpful. Like just getting feedback like really early on, like Max just being like, all right, well, this didn't work, this didn't work, maybe do this instead of that. Like it really like I think gave me kind of a better start, like a stronger start as a comic, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's so hard. I said it to Max, but I like going to One Broadway is almost like doing your set naked. You're just letting it all out there and just letting everybody just judge all of your bits and pieces. It's tough, but it is.
I was pretty nervous, when I first started going, because I was like, oh shit, like as soon as I found out there was gonna be feedback, I was like, oh fuck, they're gonna be like judge me, okay. I got kind of nervous, but then it was fine. Like Max is a super nice dude. He's he's super helpful, and he's been doing it for a while, so that was really it was great to like start that way.
Yeah, Wayne went there first,
and then obviously like I branched out from there. That's actually where I met Carolina there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
You know, Carolina Monastery.
Oh yeah, yep.
Obviously, yeah. So I met her there, and we became we became friends. And then she actually brought me to my first like Boston mic. She brought me to my first Boston mic, and that is really what like changed shit for me because I'd never been to Boston, obviously. So, but yeah, once I had like done a mic in Boston, I was like, oh shit, like this is different. You know, this like feels very different. And I started going to Boston a lot more, and then shit just, it changed a lot from there.
I think that's like, I don't want to call it a pinnacle. What am I trying to say here? Boston, we talk about that, like the closer you get to Boston, I think the tougher the audiences are. I mean, like you can tell a joke up in like Manchester. Yeah.
But the point, so we did have you done the point yet, Fredo, and Boston there? So one, you should definitely do that. That one is fucking awesome. Cameron.
That's our second time doing it last week, and I gotta say it's creeping up as like one of my favorite spots. It's fucking awesome.
It's right on Hanover Street in the North End.
It's an open mic?
It's like a booked open mic.
Yeah.
So you email Cameron and let him know that you want to come on, and he'll give you some like, hey, can you do this day? Can you do that day?
Cameron came over, and you're talking about Glove Box, right?
Glove Box.
Box. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. And I know about Glove Box. Yeah.
That was an awesome show.
I haven't reached out to him yet, but I should reach out to him.
Oh, it's such a great room. Sorry, Anthony.
Yeah, I think Mike has done it. Katie's done it. And you guys have like, how is the audience there?
It's been great all the times it did. They had a bar downstairs, so people filter up from the bar. The only problem that we had, and I think it was more a problem in Wayne's set, was the baseball game was going on, and they were fucking Phillies fans for some reason in there. I didn't understand it at all. That's another Boston thing where you can get like a little pocket of some sort of weird state in there that are just all betting on Vancouver Canuck games or some shit like that. But they were like screaming every time a run came in, and it was always never at Wayne's punchline, like right when he does the punchline. It'd be awesome if they cheered underneath. It was right during his setup, so it would just fuck his setup up most times. So yeah, that part sucked, but it was.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
Yeah, but Cam has so a couple things. One, they have this fucking ball that is green when you're good during your set, yellow when you have a minute left, and red when you're over. Which one is the greatest thing that's ever happened to anybody?
I was gonna say that's amazing. I've never. Yeah, that's incredible, dude.
Oh, it's both times I've done sets there, I've done different length, but not length, but different amount of jokes than I thought I was going to do because I just looked at the ball and I was like, oh, I got more time. I would never do that anywhere else because you never know where you're at and how much time you have, basically, besides following that fucking light. And then also Cam is it reminds me of Derek Ziba with the going after your set and saying callbacks that are really funny and tying them into his own jokes as he goes
Derek's
through.
really good at that. Yeah. Every time that I've been to Clemento's, he's just really, really good at just adding tags to your set or just like making jokes off of it. Yeah.
I've said it before, but the couple times I've gone to Clemento's, if you watch Derek while somebody's on stage, he gets like the Undertaker eyes, like his eyes roll back in the back of his head, and he's just like fucking writing shit down. And he gets on stage and just pure fucking gold. He's so quick. It's amazing.
He's super quick, yeah, and he's funny as shit. He's a great dude. Derek's one of my favorite Manchester comics, yeah, for sure, and just local comics in general. He's a great dude.
Well, he's a great host of a mic, which, goddamn, sometimes is that really hard to fucking come by. And God, we're gonna have a story to talk about in the next couple podcasts of one we did the other night. Anthony had a rough time. There was a host.
Shit.
Yeah, I will. I won't get too specific because Wayne's a little bitch about it. But
no, I'm not being a bitch. I don't care. I already said I don't care.
You sure?
I would just say don't. I would just say don't.
About it?
Don't say specific names. That's all I'll say.
That's what I'm saying. I said I won't say specific. All right, whatever. So the other day I went to a mic and host. Besides generally sucking a little bit, he said my name for 4 times I've been there. And before I went up, he said something like, "Oh man, people with hard to say names really kind of sucks. You don't never know who they're going to be. They could be like a terrorist. They could be doing all kinds of stuff. They write down their name with chicken scratch." He said the same fucking joke 4 times, and it bombs every time. Right before I go on stage, and then he says my name, and then I got to go
perfectly.
up and he says my name perfectly. And then I got to go up and have to dig my way out of that a little bit. Because the first joke I say, everybody's looking at me with a confused face like, man, that guy obviously hates you. So I don't know what... So after I got on stage, I was like, what do I have to do to get you not to say that stupid bullshit before I go up there?
Dude, that's
it's a popular mic.
Yeah. I mean, I've had people bring me up like in the worst ways, dude. Leland, as much as I fucking love Leland, I think you guys were there. I think you guys were there when he brought me up as like a rapist.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yeah, he was like, all right, Fredo. Give it up for Fredo, guys. He's, this guy's great. He's a rapist, and it's something like that. It was a little different, but either way, that's probably the worst way I've ever been brought up. But yeah, that sounds fucking horrible too, dude.
It's the only problem I had with it is the same joke. It is in Manchester.
In Manchester. Oh.
It's a very popular mic in Manchester where they have a bar connected to it and then a room that's open, and the bar, they talk a lot, and the host says that Wayne has a podcast and didn't say, like, this is the worst part. Wayne went after me, and he's like, and man, I've been waiting for this guy to come up. He actually runs a podcast, and I said the wrong name before, Open Mike Payne, and he brings up Wayne. And I'm in the back, and I was like, why can't you say that about me? Like, I'm also with the podcast. Like, you have to just say, like, oh, here's this guy's dick's probably a different color than the rest of his body because he's brown. Anthony,
that's fucking, dude, that's so funny.
Yeah,
if it's the one I'm thinking about, yeah,
The funny thing about it is him mentioning me with the podcast is that, like, I edit it, and it goes on my Facebook page. And then we have like a podcast, other socials. So that's probably where he saw it. But I always try to showcase Anthony because he's funnier in the moment on the podcast. So most of the shit I put up is just Anthony's face. And he didn't even like put two and two together.
Yeah.
Fatone called me the little Jew from that podcast the other night.
You went there at the safe a couple weeks ago. He goes,
hey, he called you a little Jew?
He's like, hey, is the little Jew from that podcast here? And I was like, me?
Dude, that's so funny. Fatone's fucking hilarious, dude. Oh my god. That's so funny. Fatone, yeah, that sounds like Fatone too.
Oh man.
Yeah. No, I love Fatone. Fatone's also one of my fucking favorite dudes in the scene. He's just... He's the best, dude.
That was a line, that's for sure.
Just really confused. He looks like an unfinished creative character from a video game. What's he doing?
Dude, he looks like a fucking... if you've seen him with his hat off, he looks kind of like a dog.
I kind of don't want... like the dog from the Muppets?
Yeah, exactly like the dog from the fucking Muppet, dude. It's so funny. He's great. He's fantastic. Fatone, he's one of the most, like, energetic... And just like he doesn't give a fuck, he does not care at all.
I've never seen someone clear a room faster.
Yeah, no, he's very good at that.
He didn't know who. This is the best part about it. He didn't know who I was either.
Clearing your room out.
Yeah, he didn't know who I was either because he came up to me right before he went on to do the set, and he was like, "Hey man, that set you just did was hilarious. So can you stick around and watch my set?" I was like, "Yeah," and then he went up, and I'm standing there, and he's like, "Oh, Wayne. Where's the little Jew you do the podcast with?" And I was like right next to Wayne. I was like, "Damn, man, you just said it was funny."
To be fair,
he loves it. That's love. That's what someone loves.
To be fair, he called you a creepy little Jew.
Oh, he did.
That's even better. Oh my god, it's even better, dude. Holy shit!
See how I munch out and myself there? I was like.
That's so funny.
I buried that. Yeah, that's what happened there. I buried that. Because he said creepy. Yeah, I have a problem. I went to Great Marsh, Mike, which is a new one, which I think only did one so far. And it was
Great
awesome.
Marsh, Mike? Who runs that?
So it's a brewery, Mike. Which I remember. The host had a stroke, and they did a benefit show for him. And then the benefit show went well. And now he's feeling better, so now he's running an open mic there, which is great because, man, it's so nice when someone had a stroke before because it's so easy to call back to it immediately in the beginning of your set. Gives you a nice little improv to do in the beginning about him. So that was nice. So that started off the set pretty good over there. But
Wait, so you just started off like shitting on a guy that had a stroke? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because he actually he said my name wrong. So I was like, I was almost glad you were alive. But yeah, I am happy he's alive because he's a great guy. But yeah, great host over there. They're doing a costume mic on Wednesday, the 25th of October. So I might.
That's fucking sick, dude. That's great.
Yeah, he's like awesome too. You're like, how much time do I have? He's like, I don't know, 5-10-ish minutes, something like that. And I'm like, oh, I love that too. You just do whatever you want up there, have a good time. When the energy gets low, you be like, all right, fuck it, see you guys later.
Yeah,
I don't even know why I got into it.
A costume mic at the safe. They did a costume mic at the safe. It was last year, and I think the only person that showed up in costume was Casey. Casey was like literally the only one. Nobody else was in costume.
He's almost in costume every week, which is I love about him.
Yeah, no, he's great. I mean, he's a theater geek, and fucking he's also gay. So I love Casey. Casey's one of my fucking best friends, dude. He's great.
He's the best, and I have I almost had an improv at Casey. He's just so nice, I couldn't do it, and also he doesn't have like I heard peripherally he was gay, but he doesn't have much material that I heard about it, so I didn't want to be uncool because I almost called him Gandalf the Gay because I look like a hobbit. That was going to be my. He has like a long beard. I was like, man, I'm going to do that, and everybody's going to be like, hey.
No, that would kill. That would be fucking great. That's fantastic, dude.
He's another good one that gets on right after you and comes up with something clever pretty quickly. He's a
really good host. Yeah, he's been hosting the Safe a lot more often recently, and he's fucking great. I love Casey as a host.
Yeah, he's somebody that which is it's so hard to find. He's an extremely nice guy that you don't go shut the fuck up when he's on stage. You know what I mean? Like when someone's super nice and you're like, I want you to bomb. I want nothing you do to be good. But when Casey goes on stage and he's super nice, you want him to do good every time, which is such a good asset to have. Because I feel like you feel this way too. I imagine when you're up there and you're like, AIDS, fuck. Asshole, blah blah blah, and you get into that kind of stuff, and everybody gives you this look, and you got to bring them to a laugh, which is awesome. I think Casey starts at like that. Everybody's like, "You're hilarious already." I already know it, and that's such a good energy that he gives off.
Yeah, he's definitely super likable. He's super likable, and he also just like he writes like a motherfucker, dude. He shows up every single week with like brand new shit.
Topical
and
too.
Like he honestly like I mean we hang out all the time, like we'll write together, and he really he pushes you to kind of write more because he's coming out with fucking 20 new bits a week, dude. It's like it's insane.
That reminds me of Wayne.
But
Wayne,
I mean
Wayne
it makes sense, he's been doing improv for fucking years, and he's been doing theater for a lot longer, and fucking it's it shows.
Fuck. Yeah, I love Casey. Yeah, Wayne sends me jokes all the time on his phone.
1,000% you should have Casey on.
We would love to have Casey on. Definitely. Spread the word. Tell him. Send it via your networks.
My networks, yeah. I'll send him a fucking raven, dude.
Exactly. Send him one of your ravens, the colorful ones.
A gay raven, dude.
Yeah, so you guys send macaws? Is that how that works?
How long have you guys been doing it for? I never. I think I've asked before, but I forgot.
So Anthony was March 12th. The only reason I know this is because I looked it up because we record every set, so we have everything that we've ever done. And I looked it up not too long ago. Anthony was March 12th of this year, and I was March 16th. Was our first. So what's that, 7 months?
March 16th was when we met. That was at your first one. Oh, okay.
The very first one.
Yeah, that's wild.
So we're almost
Wayne a picture
like
of the stage, and he was like, "Oh fuck," because like it was always we would play video games online together. And he would always be like, "Oh, the bucket list is we got to do stand up one time." That's always. I feel like I don't know if it was the same way for you, but I feel like for most people that first start stand up, they're like, "Yeah, I just want to go up there one time and have the experience." And you're like, first of all, That's not how this shit works. You're going to go up there and you're going to do fucking terrible the first time, most likely. You got to build that skill up a little bit. But I didn't foresee us going every week doing a podcast about it and all that kind of shit. So.
Really? Holy shit. I figured you guys were like, all right, we're going to do stand-up. Like, that's it. Like, you guys were signed up to, like you wanted to be comics when you started off. Like, that's what I assumed.
No, for me especially, maybe Anthony, but for me, it was a one and done. Like, I even said to my wife when Anthony's like, "Hey, I'm going to Strange Brew in Manchester. You're coming with me." I texted my wife. I was like, "Hey, Anthony's going to do this. I'm going to do it." I had like nothing other than like a few notes in my phone from, because like for 13, 14 years, we've always kind of just talked about it and always just pitched jokes and stuff, but I never really thought that I would actually get on a stage and do it. So when I texted her, I was like, "Hey, do you care if I go to this thing?" She's like, "No, 100% go." So I drive around all day for work, so I spent 10 hours driving around, going from customer to customer, trying to figure out what the fuck I was going to say. And when I got off stage, I was like, I'm fucking doing that again. I like that a lot.
Yeah, his was way better than... That was the good thing about Strange Brews. His was... Like, that's a better room to do it for the first time, I think. And Wayne did a very good structured 5-minute set his first time, where he had 3 or 4 bits that led exactly up to 5 minutes. And like I said, my first set was in fucking Portland, Maine. There's like 5 people with purple hair in front of me. And I did that dick pic joke. And then I did a joke about how in Texas, these 2 gay dudes were in a Tesla, and they got in the back seat of it, and then the car immediately sped to 150 miles an hour into a wall and killed them. Both of them. That's a true story.
Yeah, that's a good way to start off.
Yeah, and I said it just like it was a news story. I was like, "I'm Anthony Cronkite," and I went through and did that.
What the fuck, dude?
I did it level, and everybody in the crowd was like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Listen, I watch a lot of Louis. I tried to do Louis. That's not how you do Louis." So I just go and be offensive as fuck.
Oh, that's fucking funny.
Didn't work.
Yeah. That's a good point, because so Anthony obviously tried to channel Louis a little bit. My first set, I kind of didn't intentionally, but I kind of tried to channel Bill Burr a little bit. I got a little bit angry. Not angry, but like ranty, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you ever caught yourself?
Interesting, because my first time, I kind of tried to channel almost like Mark Norman.
Yeah,
Mark Norman is like one of my favorites. Yeah, so like I was trying to like, I was watching his specials a lot, going up to like my first time doing it, and I was like trying to kind of like listen to like, all right, how do you talk, when you're on stage, I was basically just trying to like figure out, and I'm still figuring this out. I'm still trying to figure out like what my voice is, kind of.
It's hard.
Up, and yeah, it is hard. I'm still figuring it out, and I feel like I'm getting a little bit closer, but I started kind of like mirroring almost like Mark Norman's style, like at the very beginning. And I've gone away from that a lot, I think. But that's how I started. I feel like,
Is Mark your favorite comedian?
No, not so much anymore. He was my favorite comedian for a long time. Right now, definitely my favorite right now, just overall, Shane fucking Gillis, dude. Shane Gillis
that special is so good.
Oh, that special is amazing, dude. The special, Beautiful Dogs is one of the best specials that's come out fucking in the last.
Yeah, I said it on a couple podcasts already. I said if he is, and I said it right when his Austin special came out. I think me and Wayne were talking about it, and I was like, he will be the biggest comedian. At least he'll be the best comedian in the generation that he does, as far as quality goes. I don't know if he'll be recognized for it, but I think he will. He's going to be the top of the ladder. It's just too different and good. He's like, they took an SNL comedian and they immediately fired him. But he is that quality of actor and impersonator and all of that, but just in the best form of comic that you could do. So, oh, you know what I was going to bring up? So you like Mark Norman. Have you heard Mark Norman? He did an interview. He talked about how to find your voice. Have you guys heard that?
No, I haven't.
I thought it was
I haven't either.
It was a really interesting take on it. So he said, basically, to him, what finding your voice is realizing that your comedy is yourself amplified a bit. And he's like, you have to stick to it. It's got to be your personality. You just have to amplify it. And he said how he did that was he did comedy for whatever a couple years, and he looked at every one of his jokes that he liked that was good, and he's like, why do I like it? What makes this joke good? I do 1,000 other jokes. What are these pillars of what I do that is me? Like for Wayne, Dick Talk, me, California Sober, like that stuff that we're like, that's the bit that we always go to. What makes it click? That's your voice. That's what he said. That those bits are your voice. So finding your voice just means compiling that.
So my voice is gay, basically. So that's what it seems like, dude. Because I do a lot of my shit that I love is like stuff about me being bisexual, or just being gay.
Well, I think it might be like the most true, right? Like you make jokes about what you know, like
again, it's an amplified version of yourself. So like when you did that bit, I remember at Strange Brew that I loved so much. That was basically like you're bisexual, so. I'm gonna butcher it, but it's something about you explaining to women what you like to do is really awkward because they're like, what do you like? Like video games? You're like, no, I like sucking dick. And there's something like that was the bit, and which was fucking hilarious. But it's not again something you would tell a girl. It's an amplified version of who you are. So that is a good way of talking about how you find your voice. But that could be across all the things that you like.
That is an older bit, and I don't do that bit anymore. I kind of retired it, but it was basically like, a lot of people don't think I'm bisexual. Like, they don't think I'm bisexual when they look at me, which is, kind of fucked up, but it actually is pretty useful because, if a girl hits on me and I want to get out of it, what is it? What the fuck? God damn.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say. I was actually just making myself a note because I was going to bring it up, and I was like, I'm going to take this. I'm going to bleep this section. I know what joke you're going to say. If you're okay with it, I'll tell you.
Tell me, yeah.
Yeah, it was basically like if a girl wants to get with you, if a girl wants to get with you and you're not interested, you can just tell her you like to suck dick.
Basically, that was basically it.
But if a guy wants to get with you and you're not interested,
I want to get out of it.
Yeah, you just kick his ass.
Politely beat the shit out of it. yeah. It's very politely beat the shit out of it.
I'll still bring that out if you want, but that's one thing when I think of Fredo. We talked with somebody, I forget, I think it was Nick, about like you think of certain comics that you see out and about, and there's always one bit that sticks in your brain about them. For me, that's for you. I saw you do that like 3 or 4 times. It just fucking cracks me up every time.
Dude, thank you for that. Yeah, because I actually like I said, I retired that bit, and I'm gonna bring it back because I really do like that bit. It just it really never hit the way I wanted it to kind of, and I just stopped doing it. But I think I'm gonna bring it back and maybe try to expand on it a little bit.
Especially, I'm sure you get better every week that you do it because that's how the going goes. So if you go back to older bits with your newfound skills, I bet you're going to be able to do it pretty good. And speaking of bits like that, Nick, his bit that's in our head is he talks about his roommate and. It's a really dark joke, and then he was like, "And this is my roommate Fredo," and I was like, "God damn, Fredo, you let me talk about you like that?"
Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. And that was fucking hilarious. That's funny as shit.
I brought a friend of mine to Coffee and Cotton the first night I ever saw him do that joke, and that's like right up my friend's alley, right up my alley. Like that's our type of humor, and he still talks about it to this day. Like if I bring up. I'd be like, hey, we had Nick Powell on the podcast. He'd be like, oh, Nick Powell. And I'll tell him, like, yeah, that joke. And he goes, oh, fuck, dude, that's awesome.
It's very, like, Jesselnick-ish. It's very, very dark. And I love that. Nick has a lot of really, really, really good dark jokes.
Just to tease on that, because the one thing we do when we go to Mike's is I watch either the host or the first couple people, and I'm like, all right, is people going to be mad at me? Or are they going to be happy what I say?
I do the same fucking thing every time, dude. Like if there's 4 girls in purple hair, I'm not doing fucking, like super offensive jokes.
Yeah. See, that's why you're good at it. I look at the purple hair, and I'm like, I am a train on a train track that's headed towards a terrible place. And there's nothing I can do. I'm chugga.
Dude, oh my god, you know who's like that too? Fatone, dude. Fatone, oh my god, if he is in front of people like that, they hate him. They fucking. I love Fatone, but his stand up, like, dude, is very like. It's very like blue and like like grimy, but in a very good way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, we saw him at Clemento's, and he did a family. A family got in an argument right outside, I think is the story.
It was at the bar.
It was at the bar, all right, at Clemento's. They were getting in a fight, and it was this black lady, and she was arguing with this guy, and he went up there, and he did a black voice for, 3 out of the 5 minutes. And I was like,
Dude.
This is the funniest... that blew my mind. I was like, man, there are levels to this game, because
he's a comics comic, dude. He's a fucking comics comic. He makes comics laugh. That's what I was gonna say. So we did a show. It was a roast at UMass Lowell, right? So, and we did this a few months ago. It was called Lowellpalooza, and it was like me, Ren, Nick, Dana, Spencer Canestraro, Katie Coughlin, and a few other people. But dude, fucking and Fatone, obviously, and Fatone, dude. I wasn't there, but I heard, and I regret this, dude. I will always regret this for the rest of my life, not seeing this. But there were, obviously, this is all college students. There's a bunch of younger people. There's like chicks with blue hair in the crowd. And Fatone goes up there, and before the show, they told us, they were like, all right, don't say like, faggot, don't say anything, don't say retard, don't say anything that's going to offend people. And Fatone goes up there and says faggot for like the first 5 minutes, just like straight. He just says, dude. And the comics are fucking dying. They're laughing. Not a lot of other people were laughing.
He's like what? Like he's what? Like 58 or something, right? Like that's his national anthem.
He's like 65, dude. Yeah, he's like. He's old as shit, dude. He's been doing stand up for like 30 years.
He's exactly the kind of guy that you would tell not to say faggot, and he's like, okay, that's all I'm going to say now. I'd like to...
Oh, no, 100%. You can't tell Fatone not to say something. He will fucking... He does not listen, dude. He's a loose cannon, bro.
I appreciate those type of people.
That guy's... He's an animal, bro. But I will always love Fatone, dude. He's great.
Comics are tough. Like, Jacques Lambert hosted Coffee and Cotton once, and they were like, okay, so this needs to be PG-13, and Jacques tried, bless his beautiful heart, so hard in between every comic. He was like, guys, just a reminder, can't talk about cucking your mother's fuck, please. And
dude, I remember that day so fucking well. I remember. Yeah, at the end when I went up, and I fucking... That was one of the best mics I've done, dude. It was fucking.
He got me. He got Wayne doing Dick Talk. It was Dick Talk, right? That you did?
No, I did Richard the Gay Ghost.
Oh, there you go. And Wayne did Richard the Gay Ghost, and then Dana went up and like.
Oh,
that's a wild stallion. You're trying to be a PG-13.
Oh, you can't tame Dana, dude.
They can't tame him. And then you went up, and I was like, man, poor Jacques. That was a tough one. And then that was didn't they kill Coffee and Cotton for that?
Interracial porn. Yeah. It was fucking beautiful, dude.
And great. That was the last one they did, and then that was it.
I love that. Like everybody just mentioned, like everybody takes risks, but like Fredo, you take so many risks with your jokes. like you don't give a flying fuck. Like you just lay it all out there, man.
What?
Like yeah, you do. Like I don't like. Obviously, like we talked about you talking about your experiences and your sexuality and all that stuff, but like you fucking just go up there and you lay it out there.
Yeah, like my uncle molested me, but I don't talk about it.
Oh, okay, yeah. No, you're right.
Just kidding.
I guess I do fucking take risks, dude. I do, dude. Oh my god. So I did a few shows recently, and they were like queer shows, like gay shows, and at the end of like 2 of them that I did, I ended with molestation jokes. Like my fucking, it's basically my joke about like my dad. I was like, oh, has anybody ever been caught smoking cigarettes before? And I'm like, oh, well, my dad caught me sucking dick. And I was like, yeah, you know how they make you smoke the whole pack? You know how if they catch you, they make you smoke the whole pack? Yeah, my dad, made me suck all his friends' dicks. But that is how I got so good at it. So like, who the fuck won that one, Dad? That's like that joke. Yeah, I did at the end of 2 of the gay shows, and it went horribly. It was so rough, dude. The whole audience was just like, "Ooh," like, "Oh no." But then, like, once I did the part where I'm like, "Oh, well, that is how I got so good at it." You kind of win them back a little bit. But those are rough jokes to do, dude. Those are fucking
my favorite ones, man.
We talked about this, Anthony and I, last week. Like, you have to own it. Like, if you're gonna make a joke like that, you have to own it. Last week,
1,000%, yeah.
Yeah, last week at Strange Brew, I had to get some shit out of my system, and I did some really horrendous, offensive jokes, and I kept that in my mind when I was doing it. Like, you have to own it. You can't, like, giggle your way out of it. You can't, whatever. You have to say it.
Yeah, you can't half-ass it. You have to commit. If you're gonna do a fucked up joke, you have to commit, or it's just not gonna work. Because the crowd can tell if you're not fucking confident in what you're saying. You know, like, if you're just like, if you have, like, 1 foot over the line, like, you gotta fucking jump over that shit, dude. You gotta just go full balls deep. You know, if
I texted him. I said, "Wayne, what are you gonna do?"
Yeah.
I was like, "What are you gonna do tonight?" And he's like, "I'm gonna do a joke called Make a Wish. Then I'm gonna do a joke called Chris Benoit. Then I'm gonna do a joke about trans people." And I was like, "Wow!" I was like,
"That's that's a great set list. That's a fantastic set list."
I'll probably never do the Chris Benoit one again. So I'll tell you what it was. It was basically saying, I think. It was basically saying, I think kids are really bad for you. Look what they did to Chris Benoit. And like, I would never do that. Obviously, a double murder suicide. I would never do it, but I get it.
But you get it.
And it was more to it, but I'll probably never do it again. I might do it at the Safe one day because that's a really good place for a joke like that. But I just had to get it out of my system. I don't know. Do you ever have those jokes where you just have to like I know this is not okay, but I just have to say it so I can scratch it off my notebook.
Oh yeah, 1,000%, dude. Yeah. Like I do this joke about Lori Daybell. I don't know if you guys have heard about Lori Daybell.
I don't know him.
So no, it's a chick. Lori Daybell is this. It's this woman.
I thought you said Lloyd. I'm sorry.
Oh no, Lori Daybell.
Okay.
This woman killed both of her kids. Because she thought they were like zombies.
That's a good reason to do it.
Yeah, keep talking.
She thought they were zombies and that they like would be happier if they were in heaven, and like she murdered both of her kids and married this dude and like just ran away with this guy. And apparently she also might have murdered his ex-wife, who he left for her. So I do a joke about how, like, for her to kill both of her kids, man, like, that must have been some crazy dick. That must have been, like, the best dick she'd ever had, dude. Like, that'd be the first time in history, like, anybody's ever used, like, the good dick defense in court. She's like, Your Honor, look, I was coming, like, 6 times a night. You don't understand. Like, he was hitting it from every angle. That's a fucked up joke, but I was like, as soon as I read that story, that's the first thing that came into my mind. I was like, I was like,
that reminds me,
was he laying down, dude?
Have you heard Louis' so Louis did a SNL once, and this is on SNL too, which was crazy. He did a bit about pedophiles, and he was basically like, man, the worst thing in the world ever that anybody could ever call you is a pedophile. And they still do it. So how good must kids be? They must be so good. They must be so fucking good.
I always say everything.
It's so fucking funny, dude. Oh my god.
I always say when it comes to cuisine, everything's better in like baby form, right? Like veal is way better. Right?
Dude, Louis has some of the best like dark jokes that anybody's ever written. He's the fucking king, I think, of dark jokes, like, for me.
And he said it. I listened to him on Tom Segura's podcast, and he said exactly what you said. He's like, you have to go, if you're going to say the joke, you got to look at someone in the eyes and say it, like, sell it. Like, I do one that I wasn't selling for a while, which was really not a good idea, about the Bud Light thing when that was happening in Topical. I said that I always thought it'd be the watered-down flavor that took out Bud Light, and it turns out it took a watered-down woman. And I would end my set
dude, that's fucking great. Holy shit, that's good.
Sometimes though, like I'd look at
Well, you can't do that at like Jocks. Yeah,
yeah.
You can't.
That's the problem.
Oh, sorry. God damn it! I'm getting a fucking call. She literally just called me to tell me about some apartment that's available. It's like I already have an apartment. Like, come on.
She's like, yeah, but you're living with whites. What are you doing?
Is it just you and Nick in the apartment?
No, it's me, Nick, and Mike. I think you guys might have met Mike.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Mike Hardy.
Yeah, he's very funny too.
He's funny.
The couple times I've seen him, he's very funny.
He has oh my god, he has also some really good dark jokes. Yeah, he has some really dark jokes that I like. I've been writing more dark jokes recently. I don't know, maybe because it's getting darker. I don't know why the fuck, but I don't like most of the new shit that I've been writing has been like dark.
I think it's a confidence thing that you have too, because it's the funniest jokes that you do, and I bet in the beginning it's a little bit more like, man, I got to keep the dark to a minimum so I can get through the stuff, and then later now, like you said, you're finding your voice, and you're like, wow, I'm fucking dark. So
I found out that I'm definitely a little bit darker, and I also found out that like I don't know, I think I found this. Do you guys know Kyle Seeley?
Yeah. Love Kyle.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, Kyle Seeley. Kyle's great. I love Kyle. He's fucking one of my favorite people in the world. Kyle gave me one of the best notes that anybody's given me. This is like early on. Is like he saw me do a set. I think at Concept 6. I don't know if you guys had ever been to Concept.
We didn't go, but we know about it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's gone now, obviously, sadly. But Concept, dude, was a rough room. But I was having a really rough set. There was a good audience there that night, and I was having a really rough set because I started off like super dark. And I just immediately lost everybody. And Kyle came up to me after the set, and he was like, "Dude, you got to start nice. Like, you got to start nicer. You know what I mean? Like." And I've been doing that for pretty much most of my sets at shows. Like, I realize that you kind of have to start a little bit light. You can't just start. Full. I mean, you can start super dark, but obviously you have to fully commit and then have probably a completely dark set because it's hard to go dark and then go nice, like go light.
Yeah, so I'm a salesman in my day job, and something that my boss had said to me at one point kind of hits home for my boss.
Yeah, why do you say boss? Like, why is that the one word that you say like fucking the lady from Oh, what's that movie? Well, My Cousin Vinny. Yeah, you just My Cousin Vinny.
But one thing he said to me that really kind of hits home with comedy is you have to sell yourself before you can sell anything. So, people at an open mic or a show that, even just anything that people are buying tickets to, we're not well known. You might have a couple people that have come to see you or have gone to a show and seen Fredo Cruz before. I go, oh, yeah, I remember that guy. He was wicked funny. But you have to sell yourself before you can sell anything else. It's not like a Louis or a Jimmy Carr, Anthony Jeselnik. People are going to get that type of comedy. So it makes sense to have to start off. I don't know. I have a joke that I've started a couple sets with. Where the first thing I say is, "What the fuck are we doing with sex change operations?" And you lose people
too quickly. Yeah.
You lose people. Yeah. In that scenario, I think it kind of works out for me a little bit, and that's kind of like the point, just because of like where I take the joke. But I still think it hinders me a little bit.
Yeah, the way I describe it is it's kind of like so we're murderers. I say this all the time. We're murderers, right? And you're gonna try to get someone to get into your car, so you can either open your door with the dark shit that you have and just be like, "This is me. Look how dark this car is," and you're gonna get the freaks to get into your car because they're down for that shit, but normal people are going to walk away from that car. Yeah, but if you open the car Ted Bundy style and you're handsome as hell and you're like, hey, my arm's broken, can you help me? Some people who are nice are going to get in the car, and then you darken them up right towards the end. So.
You got to get them on your side. Like once you have them on your side, and you can fucking you can sell other shit. You can sell the dark shit that you have.
Yep, perfect way.
You can talk about killing children and shit like that, dude. Your uncle molesting you.
Exactly. All that stuff works if you talk about. I do my weed material up front most of the time now. If I have anything like weed related, I'm like, that's fine. That hits in the beginning. It's relatable. And I'm like, okay, Uncle Molestin jokes. Let's get into those. Like that's definitely the end jokes.
My favorite Uncle Molestation joke. Do you know Bo Burnham?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Bo Burnham.
So he does all the music, whatever, and he does a bunch of raps. One of my favorite lines of his is I spit gold bars because I was molested by my Uncle Midas. It's so fucking clever. The Midas touch, right?
Great.
That's such a good line. I love that, man. That's such a good.
Holy shit! That's great. Sorry, I've been fucking coughing this whole time.
Oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Honestly, I literally have not been coughing the entire day, and I just suddenly started coughing right before this fucking podcast.
That happens to me when I make sales calls. And it happened a lot when COVID was happening. Like, I would convince somebody to let me go into their shop, and I'd be like, no, I'm fine, I promise. And then I would just start coughing for no reason.
Yep, immediately, dude. It's just fucking terrible timing.
And then they all died, which was crazy.
That's probably the best part.
So one thing I wanted to ask you about, last time I saw you at One Broadway, you brought up the fact that you were in a cult in one of your jokes.
Yeah,
I was extremely
cult joke,
I was extremely curious about that, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you about it. If you're willing, I'd love to hear a little bit about that and like how that influences. There's going to be like a mine of comedy gold there. I mean, they made a whole show about it with like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, which I'm sure it was nothing like that, but there's going to be like a mine, like a gold mine of stuff you could pull from. With that stuff,
there definitely is. Like, I'm trying to do. For a while, I didn't touch that material, like that part of my life, like in my stand up at all. Like, I didn't talk about being in the cult for like at all. I stayed away from that, just because it was still pretty fresh when I started. When I started stand up, I was only out of the cult for like maybe a year, I think.
Oh no shit! So that's really recent.
Yeah, no, it's fairly recent. Yeah, I was in it. I was in it from like. I want to say 2017 to like 2021. Oh, yeah.
Damn. So your entrance into it was really recent too.
Yeah, my entry. Yeah, I'm 25, dude. I haven't lived that long. It was basically.
Dude, I feel so old. 17. I remember '98.
I know. Imagine the stories his asshole could tell. Your asshole's gonna write a fucking Nicholas Sparks book someday.
Dude, it's gonna be fucking insane. I'll get ChatGPT to fucking write it for me.
Damn.
It's gonna be great.
I think I was playing Twisted Metal before you were even thought of. That's fucking crazy.
Dude, yeah. I'm younger. It's also weird, yeah, because I live with like 35-year-olds, and like everybody that most of my friends are like at least 10 years older than me. So I'm always like, I don't know, like I don't get all these references you're fucking making. Like it's.
I work with a 21-year-old, and like, it's hard. It's so hard. Like, I brought up Boy Meets World one day, and he was like, "What the fuck's that?" And I was like, "You need to go hang yourself."
Yeah, I've heard of Boy Meets World. Like, I fucking, I have a rough time with the younger people too, dude. Honestly, like even 17-year-olds and like 16-year-olds now, with like TikTok and shit, and like all they're annoying. Most of them are fucking annoying.
I love TikTok because they have those challenges that are kind of thinning the herd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the Tide Pod. Like, just get rid of some of these people. Good. If you're going to put a Tide Pod in your mouth.
My brother put a fucking Tide Pod.
Oh, come on. Don't say that to me.
My brother put a Tide Pod in his fucking mouth, dude. He didn't swallow it, but
good.
He put it in his mouth and it burst.
He's okay now?
I immediately was like, all right, well, he's going to die.
Is he okay?
No, he's fine. He's
okay. Thank God.
Yeah, don't porn stars bleach their asshole? So if you could you do a reverse like South Park style Tide Pod challenge where you stick it up your ass or something like that? And because worst case scenario, isn't it the same thing as bleaching your asshole as a porn star?
Like, you know what? I mean, I have some, dude. Give me a second. Let me grab them.
Yeah, exactly.
we'll try it out, dude.
Can we try this?
Well,
Wayne said the other day that you can put on YouTube. So maybe because I'm definitely doing this This is crazy. If this is true, I don't believe him, but I'm gonna go. So there's apparently a Nair instructional video where the guy.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, that exists. Wow,
so
I haven't seen it, but I told Wayne I'm doing it. Right, like we got it. We could do it.
Listen, you can do it. I'm not editing that shit for you. Fredo can.
You
edit
have
it.
to.
I'm not looking at it. You and your Portuguese Brillo pad asshole can stay over there. I'm not.
It's like if you gave an elephant's trunk a beard. That's what the back of my asshole looks like. Not the front. The front, no trunk, but the skin.
You have a tail, dude.
Yeah, exactly. I got that little tail, little hair at the end of it, like they have there at the tip.
Oh, dude.
Oh fuck! I think we got a little off track.
Yeah, no, I've seen that video. That video is fucking incredible, dude. It's still. I think it's still. It might still
Maybe for you, not for
me. It might
me.
have been taken down by this point, but it's so funny.
I don't think it has. I watched it like I don't know, a month ago.
I watched it on the
like
21st of every
For the
month.
first time. Somebody showed it to me at Strange Brew for the. It was Owen. I think Owen or Mike DuPont showed it to me at Strange Brew. It was fucking the funniest thing in the world.
I could see
so
that video coming from both of them. Definitely. If it was the
They
end
were
of the
like,
night, it
Fredo
was
would
Mike.
love this.
Yeah.
It's
was
some
Mike.
guy's fucking naked asshole. He's gonna love this.
I'm 100% sure it was Mike now.
So we got a little off topic. So we were talking about you getting into the cult. Or
Yeah.
Thing.
So the cult. What was I talking about?
We didn't get too far before we get derailed, which is usually what
Well,
happens.
when did you realize that, like, did you know, because my wife almost got culted, but it was like a little bit. They were Christians, so, I mean, I guess in whole it was a cult, but they were just like, cult in the sense of, like, they would get together and I would never go, and then when they would, like, go bowling and shit, and they were, like, this little, like, when they hang out with each other, and then, like, I would go to one thing, and I'd be like, Jesus is a cunt or something, you know, like just the things I would say in random conversation. And then they would text her afterwards, like, he's going to hell. You're definitely going to go to hell if you're anywhere around him. We need to get you out of there and smuggle you out. But it wasn't like a big church. It was just like a group of like 6 people. And she's like, feels kind of culty. Like they want me to like call myself some kind of like a Branch Davidian almost type of name to it.
Yeah, I mean, all religions are fucking cults, dude. Like,
in the end, they are.
Religions, yeah.
Just different sizes. So when did you know?
So I knew when, I want to say, so it was maybe like a few years in. I was a few years in, and I started to realize that like So let me start from like the beginning a little bit, kind of, because you need some context. So I basically joined the cult because there was a friend of mine, like my best friend at the time when I was like 17, who was already volunteering for it. He was a little bit older than me, and he introduced me to it. And the whole thing is basically the whole idea of the cult is that money, right? That money is basically it's the whole like money is the source of all evil, and like capitalism is evil, and it was kind of like it was a communist cult in a way. Yeah, it was called the Venus Project, and their whole thing was like, oh, we need to educate, we need to educate all the people in the world to and convince them to let go of money and move away from capitalism and the monetary system to their system. So they had their own system that they created, and it was called a resource-based economy. And they were basically saying, and they had a bunch of things that, like they were like, oh, well, music and art and all that, like you're not going to need that in the future. Like those things don't contribute to the advancement of society, so they're useless. So like that was like one of their like things, that they kind of believed in. So, and also like another thing was like, oh, well, the idea that like your family were just like people, like everybody's, like it was this whole like brotherhood of like humanity idea, where they were like, oh, well, like you're really, you're no different than, some dude across the street or some random person. Like, you're all the same. So you shouldn't hold your family to any higher standard than all other people. So I stopped caring about my family. Basically, at some point, I was like, all right, well, these people, and there was this whole thing about like normal people. So like people that were outside of the cult were like called normal people. It was like, the way that my friend referred to them, and this is insane. He referred to people that were outside of the cult as cerebral insufficients.
That's an amazing name.
Which is crazy. Cerebral insufficients. That'd be a nasty band name.
Sure would.
But yeah, it was this insane like science like communist kind of cult. Where science was held to like the fucking what highest regard, I guess. They were like science above everything. We need to educate everybody to be like basically robots. They wanted fucking machines.
I want to join this fucking cult. So leave your family. Science is awesome. Wow. Yeah. I hate all new music. Anything anybody does now, I'm like, what are you doing?
Well, yeah, dude, that sounds pretty fucking sick. Yeah, actually.
I can see it. So was there, do all paths lead to one dick in this place where there's a guy at the top pyramid fucking his way down?
Yeah, there was one like guy. So the guy, his name was Jock Fresco. And he started the cult when he was in his, he was in, I think his like 30s or 40s. And he was born, dude, he died when he was 100 years old. Wow. Like maybe, I don't know, like when I was like a year into the cult. So he died at like 100 years old, and he was born in like 1913 or some shit. And dude, he invented a bunch of shit, and he was actually like he was a futurist. So like he invented like designs for like futuristic cities, and he had these like designs of like circular cities that he thought would be the future and all this shit. Yeah, he actually did. So like the in Florida, so because the joke is about how I wanted to move down to Florida, right? The joke that I do about the cult. It's like the only joke that I have about the cult. And the whole thing was like, oh, I want to move down to Florida eventually, like when I was a couple years in, and they were like, no, like you can't move down here. And I was, and then I'm like, yeah, do you know how it feels like? Because do you know how bad that felt? Because cults are groups of people that have been rejected by society, right? You know how bad it feels to get rejected by the people that were rejected by society? Like it's, and then I go into like how I used to go there every year, and this is true. I used to go there every year and fucking basically landscape for them.
Damn.
Which is, yeah. So we went on these volunteer trips where we went there, and they had this like basically list of chores for us to fucking do. They're like, all right, clean up all the palm fronds, redo the tiles in one of the buildings, on the compound and shit. And yeah, it was fucked up, dude.
And all wives go fuck that 100-year-old guy, please.
Yeah, everybody. They had orgies there. I know they had orgies there. They had fucking.
Hell yeah, they did. That's why they made the fucking call. I mean, so think about it. Have you ever seen Dewey Cox? Have you ever seen the Dewey Cox movie?
No.
Oh man, I'm gonna change your world. You're gonna love it. So it's a comedy musical where they're making fun of Johnny Cash's life, but they do it as John C. Reilly, and basically everybody's band gets addicted to drugs, and why he keeps getting addicted to drugs is that he'll bust in on them, and they're like, "Oh, Dewey, you don't want no part of this shit." He's like, "What are you doing?" They're like, "We're smoking weed. It makes everything feel good, and sex is better, and it makes all your problems go away, and food's better." And he's like, "Well, I think I kind of want some of this shit." That's kind of what that cult sounds like. You're telling me not to do it, but I really want to do it now.
Well, dude, I mean, and that's how it sounded to me. It sounded fucking amazing, but then you realize that like their whole mission is just like, or this is what eventually I realized. I eventually realized when I quit that I like the idea. Like I like the idea of it. It was super idealistic. Like the whole thing, about we can eventually get rid of money and share all the resources in the world and all that. Like that sounded great. And because obviously I grew up super poor, and that's kind of what attracted me to it, and that's what attracts a lot of people to it. Because there's like hundreds of thousands of people that fucking are involved in the Venus Project.
Wow.
There's a huge following in Russia. There's like hundreds of thousands of people in Russia that follow it. I think that's where their biggest following is.
Probably
fucking Russell
too, right?
Brand. Russell Brand. There's a video of him on YouTube talking about it.
Wow.
George St. Pierre went and fucking he went and visited the compound, or like they call it the research center, or like the resource center. And it's in Venus, Florida. That's why it's called the Venus Project, by the way. But yeah, dude, it's pretty like well known actually. Like I feel like a lot of people know about it. He got the guy who started it, Jacques Fresco. He got awarded like some award from the UN for futuristic city design.
Fuck.
Yeah,
wow.
It sounds like I'm trying to fucking recruit you, dude. I'm really not.
Where do I sign my Venus?
Dude, it's my Venus.
Yeah, so communism is the most fantastic idea of all time. That was really, the Cold War was kind of based on that, which was money shouldn't be the thing that, like, capitalism is the most annoying necessary evil that exists. Because if everybody could just get what they're supposed to get and everybody do what they love, society could function. It's the problem with that is that all of it's in a vacuum of space that you think that could happen, and then you put someone in who's like, wait a minute. I swung a sledgehammer all day. I want to buy at the porn store half a body, when they have the torso and they have no head and they have just the ass, and I want to be able to afford that. In communism, you can't get that. You don't. They don't.
No,
dude,
you can't get a real doll in fucking communism. That's the problem. I think that's most people's main issue with it, honestly.
Is you can't do that.
Like at the end of it, that's why conservatives are fucking. Dude, they don't want any part of it. They're like, what? I can't buy a fucking sex doll, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
I work next to a porn store, and my goodness, my favorite thing in the world is when people have to buy those dolls because they don't sell them in packaging. I don't know why. That you feel it would just come in a black, you feel like it would come in a coffin-shaped cardboard box, but it doesn't. And they take them, and they gotta grab them. No case. They gotta grab them like it's a Heimlich maneuver, but there's no head or anything like that. Just like a tits and ass, and they gotta drag them across the parking lot and throw them into the car. It's so fucking great.
Imagine watching your neighbor
those
drag.
Things get heavy, dude.
Yeah, imagine watching your neighbor drag that shit into their house.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how else to do
mine,
it.
Actually, great.
I triple bag condoms. I triple bag condoms to bring them in the house, and you want me to drag in a torso?
Dude, I used to have all right, this is hilarious. When I lived with my parents, I had like a tiny, not like a torso, like a fucking just an ass. And dude, I would be going to the bathroom to wash it out, terrified, just looking around. I'm just like, yo, if my grandma catches me with this, I'm gonna fucking get. Dude, I don't know I don't want to have this conversation right now.
All right, so how dangerously did you live? Because you have the covert. I guess it's not that covert, but it's covert enough. You could do a female ass, and then at least in the middle of it, you're like, this isn't filet mignon, but this is at least enough to keep the hounds off me if I get caught. Or did you go like, this guy's name is Gary and it's the trucker edition?
No. It was a female ass, dude. It was maybe 7 inches across, dude. And I would the way I would go to the bathroom, I would put it in a towel, I would wrap it around and just hold it like a fucking baby, dude. I'm just walking into the bathroom, holding this thing, and then I'm in the sink. I'm in the bathroom in the sink, just pouring water through it. It's the most embarrassing thing to have to do. And then eventually I just threw it out because I was like, this is too much work to fucking maintain.
You know what I learned being a parent that you're going to figure out eventually if you have kids is that they knew this was happening the whole time and you just didn't know.
Oh my God, dude.
I'm going to regret telling this story. But I used to work at a parts store, and this was well after Anthony. So me and Anthony worked at this parts store together. That's how we met. Well after he left, I was working with this kid, Pat, and every Sunday we would work together. So we spent a lot of time together, and yeah, we'd tell each other shit. my sister used to sell sex toys through Athena's or whatever.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so
it's a pyramid scheme for sex toys.
It's basically
hilarious.
it's like Pampered Chef for sex toys. Yeah. And we supported her one night. Had some people over. She goes like, "Hey, this is blah blah a dildo, blah blah. This you put this here." I'm gonna say she was good at it. She sold a lot. I wasn't gonna go out of there not buying something because I was trying to support her. So
it's tough.
I bought something. The following morning, I'm standing in work and we're standing at the counter. We had a little bit of a rush in the morning, and I didn't realize somebody was still in the store at this point. Everybody left, and I looked at Pat and I go, "Hey, guess what I did yesterday?" And he's like, "What'd you do?" And I said, "I bought a microwavable pocket pussy."
Microwavable pocket pussy, yeah.
In one of the aisles, I hear a voice go, "Did you rub your foreskin off?" And dude, my fucking stomach just sank, came straight out my ass. I was like, "Fuck!"
It's like a hot pocket where the inside's like way too fucking hot, no matter how you do it.
I don't even know. I don't even know what it was. It was like, I don't know, it had something like a case or whatever you put in, then you shove it in there, and then you fuck it.
God damn, you crazy motherfucker. The farthest I've gone is a cock ring, and it got given to me by a guy named Obi at Greater Lawrence Healthcare in Lawrence. I don't know if you've ever been there, Fredo, but you can just go there.
Of course, yeah, dude.
Yeah, exactly. You can just go there and be like, "Hey, I might have AIDS," and they're like, "Oh, hold on, let me give you 100 cock rings."
What?
Yeah, he was great. So they would test you there for free. But this guy named Obi, he would sit you down and go, "Listen, man, you don't have whatever you think you have," which is great. That's the first thing they say, even though you could totally have it. His first thing is to calm you down. So he's like, "You don't have any of that shit you think you have. You just are fucking for the first time, and you never thought that would happen." I'm like, "Check." And he's like, "And now you're going to start going down the anxiety tree." He's like, "So this is for you, here for free, is a bag of shit." And they had, like, first of all, Lawrence, so a bunch of bigger size condoms. I was like, well, whoop. But other things, but other weird things in there, he would take them out individually and be like, "And this, Anthony, is a cock ring." And he's like, "This is for jacking on your junk and getting it to vibrate for her." And this guy taught me.
He gave you a vibrating cock ring? That's fucking sick, dude.
Yeah.
This guy sounds like the fuck. This guy's a goat.
He was Snoop Dogg with a lab coat giving me a bunch of contraceptives, and he's probably still there, and his name is Obi. And he's my father figure, I think.
You gotta have this guy on the podcast. Dude, are you fucking kidding
That's
me?
actually a really good idea, Anthony. You should reach out to this guy.
I would. He got to send me. So the reason why I was there is my girlfriend at the time, she broke up with me. She started dating a guy from the Army right afterwards. And then she was like, "Hey, you have chlamydia." And I was like, "Wow." And she's like, "Because I have chlamydia. And my boyfriend's in the Army, and he got tested right before he went, and he doesn't have it. And the only other person I had been with is you. So you had to give it to me." And I was like, "Oh, God, no." So I went there, and Obi was like, "Nah, man, that chick's just a skank." And he said he wrote out a letter, and he signed it, Obi, that said that, like, and to whom it may concern, he does not have chlamydia. And I got to fax it to her, like, like, because it was like 100% her new boyfriend cheated on her.
Dude, that's fucking amazing. That needs to be a bit. That's fucking so funny, dude.
I literally just
being
told
like,
him that.
"Nah, bro, she's just a hoe, bro. Don't worry about it."
Yeah,
That's
he was
hilarious.
That was your, like, he was ride or die for your dick in there, no matter what your dick did. He was 100%.
Dude, I had the complete opposite. I had a fucking so I had a chick also call me about chlamydia. She was like, "Hey, I just tested myself and I have chlamydia, and we were fucking not that long ago. You should probably get yourself tested." And I go to get myself tested, and they're like, "All right, they did the test. They're like, all right, we're gonna give you the drugs anyways, because just in case you have it." So they just put this giant needle in my ass and made me take 2 pills.
Wow.
And I turned out I didn't have it, and I was like, all right, sick. So I just took these drugs for no fucking reason. Dope.
You know what's crazy You remember the powdered wigs from like 1700s?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the chlamydia or the syphilis.
It's syphilis, yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. I just learned that not that long ago. That's fucking wild.
Dude, it's sick.
I wonder if they had like a powdered wig Obey and he's like, nah, man, your wife's just a skank.
Hey, you want just a skank, but just wear this in case.
Just wear this just in case, man. Just, you look good in it. You look good.
Oh, that's so good.
I know, they're putting like fucking diapers on their heads and baby powder and shit like that. Man, how rough must have that time been? If I don't do that, my head will sear off. Shit. All right, hey, we're over an hour. We're getting there. You want to start wrapping this bitch up, Wayne?
Yeah. So I have two things for you, Fredo, before we go. First, it's not something I've asked anybody, but I want to. If you were to meet Wayne 8 months ago, 8 months ago when we first met, and Anthony, and I said, hey, Fredo, what do you have for advice for me as a open mic comic on his first night? What would you give me? What are you laughing about? That's a good
stupidest fucking question I've ever heard.
Is it?
No, I like the question.
I think it's a good question.
You said if you could go back in time to the day we met, because we did, what advice would you give? You'd be like, that happened, the same stuff.
No, all right, fine. If you were to meet an open mic comic today,
what advice would I give to like a new open mic comic? Right?
Yeah, I was trying to do it.
He just wrapped it in a sandwich of stupid.
Yeah, dude. All right.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, no, fuck you both.
We got the point though. So this is like usually what I tell people, like especially like the other day we're getting a bunch of new people with the safe, so I've been telling people this shit recently. I think the best advice that I can probably give is just quit. Just fucking quit, dude. It's not going anywhere. No, I'm fucking around. Obviously, I don't tell people to quit. I usually just tell people to like just fucking have fun, dude. Like as long as you're having fun up there, I think honestly having fun is like probably the most important thing. Because if you're not having fun, people can tell. Like people can tell if you're nervous up there, or if you're like not having a good time. So I try to always go up there and just fucking have fun, dude. Because like there was a while there when I started where I was just like putting all this pressure on myself. I was like, all right, you have to be fucking amazing every time. You have to be good. You have to be, this is serious. And I was taking it too seriously, and I was kind of getting really stiff, in my sets. And now that I'm having more fun, I feel like I'm coming off a lot more natural. And that's what I feel like is probably one of the best things I could tell somebody that's just starting out.
That's great.
And also write as much as you fucking can, dude. Like write every day if you can. Yeah.
That's some good advice. Yeah, do your dark shit last. That's really good. That's kind of in line with something Jacques told me once. He was you don't want to be the best person at an open mic. You're there to work stuff out. You're not there to be the best. You're there to work stuff out.
You're there to work shit out. Yeah, you're there to see what works, what doesn't, and just work on shit and not to impress anybody. You're just fucking, you're going there to have fun, dude.
Yeah, don't be afraid to go down the corridor that is you. Don't be trying to, not be yourself on there, because that's how you get that.
Exactly, and people can tell when you're not too. I also think. Don't do too much cocaine. You can do a little bit of coke. You can do a little bit of coke every here.
I need to lose some weight.
A lot less coke if there's fentanyl in it. I heard, because you can.
Yeah, no, you do way less coke, dude. Yeah, I mean, it's harder to do coke when you're dead.
Yeah, you'll save a lot of money when you're dead.
Again, must be so good. Must be so. Imagine just snorting fentanyl, then fucking a kid. No, sorry. All right.
Wow. Your family. Wouldn't that be fucking amazing?
Hey, this is kind of podcast, Wayne. All right, this is the type. If I want to break out the Louis pedophile jokes now.
So, Fredo, do you have anything coming up? I see you post things here and there. Do you have any shows or anything coming up that you want us to highlight? Get people to come. See you?
So I have a show coming up November 5th, and that's the it's a show it's like a cancer benefit. It's a show at like a breast cancer benefit in at Mill Number 5.
Nice.
I think it's gonna be in Coffee and Cotton. Yeah. So.
That's incredible.
I think I'm gonna be doing like 15 to 20 on that, which is one of the longer sets that I've done, which is exciting. That's gonna be a level up, and then after that, November 10th, I'm doing Dropout Comedy. Freddie Sabella, you guys know Freddie.
Yeah, we know Freddie.
Yeah. So he has a Dropout Comedy game show, which I'm doing November 10th in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. I don't know I forget what time it is. I think it's like 7:30, 8:30, but yeah, I'm super excited for both of those. That's all I have coming up.
That's right near me in Portsmouth. Maybe come check that shit out. That sounds awesome. Game show.
Dude, it's gonna be fucking fun, dude. Dropout is a really, really fun show. It's like you get to compete, against comics and shit, and it's dope.
Yeah, I like the idea of those like game shows. Like they have like the beer giggles that we talked to Nick about, and like that stuff giggles, sounds.
Red was talking about that the other day.
That's the thing we haven't done yet, Wayne, and all of us we need to get into is a different type of show. Like we've just been doing either like something that we got to book or open mic. We haven't done anything weird. No game shows, roasts.
You should do. Like you guys should. There's a mic called AV Comedy Club in Boston. So it's an open mic where they have a projector where you can just like put up a slideshow or like whatever the fuck you want and just use it during your set, dude. And
that's cool.
I think it's a really cool concept to just fucking you can toss up. You can literally make a slideshow for your set.
It's almost like a Dimitri Martin type of thing.
Exactly, yeah. Dimitri Martin kind of thing. I think I haven't tried it yet, but I've been meaning to. And it seems pretty fun.
Yeah, there's a weed show that I got to do.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, that I hear. There's one in Chinatown in Boston that I sent tape to because they were like, "Oh yeah, we host a weed show," and I'm like, "Listen, you don't know this yet, but like." I'm designed for this. I was like, you have to let me do it.
You talking about King's Court? King's Court?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the weed show a couple times.
Oh, have you? Is it good?
Fun, dude.
Oh man,
it's really, really fucking fun.
You have to put a word for me over there. I tried.
Dude, I did it for Nick Hahn when Nick Hahn is gone now. He's in Colorado, but when he was here, he ran a show there. And then I also did do one for King's Court.
The host, man, that's such a key part of it. I'm telling you. And so he could say something about fucking my mother if he said it funny enough to get a little bit of a laugh before I go up. I'm like,
but go up to the people and say, "Hey, what do you want me to say about you?" How hard is that? Like Jake, have you ever been to Booking Bar?
I like clapping.
Then fucking clap. I don't care.
We tried once, but Wayne is a little bitch on time and couldn't get there on time, and you have to get there on time.
Dude.
All right, so we've taken you down the rabbit hole of all kinds of holes, buttholes, Venus holes, all of them. We filled them, we've clogged them. They're all good to go. And I got to tell you guys, it has been the worthiest step in the quest for laughs. Did it.
I bought a microwavable pocket pussy.